I hate to break the fishing news up, Chuck, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations, you're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down.
Yep. All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Hello and welcome into episode 169 of the Nation Real Life Podcast. I am Tyler Yaremchuk, and everyone else is joining me via FaceTime. Jay is here, Wanye's here, Chalmers, Bagged Milk. The whole gang is back together for our Monday edition of the episode. We got a lot of topics to get to, some hockey talk for once as well. We're going to dig into that. But first, I guess we can just start by chatting about everybody's weekend. So we'll let Chalmers go first because it seems like he still lives an interesting life. How was your weekend, Chalmers?
Yeah, no, I don't live an interesting life. Unfortunately, everything's gotten really weekends I used to have a lot to look forward to, and now it's like when you're completely hungover on a Sunday and you don't want to do a damn thing. It's pretty much the only time what we're going through is like good. Because I don't feel any type of remorse for just laying on the couch and watching TV all day.
Buddy, I'm worried I'm going to be able to bounce out the other end and get ambition again. I'm like, you know what? I see why people are lazy fucks and they stay home all the time. This is actually much easier than doing stuff.
Yeah, so on Friday night, we watched a movie and we had a little Zoom party with my family. And just basically watched and just drank heavily because it's what we do. And then Saturday woke up and did a lot of stuff around the house. He cleaned our house.
Damn.
And then had another birthday party for my dad over Zoom. And then did our Saturday night poker game with the boys.
Now, regarding your dad, and all 12 listeners of the Real Life Podcast are appreciating how this is just devolving into a conversation between buddies. But how about LC and his birthday post on Insta flexing against some sports car? Your dad. What is this sports car and what the fuck?
So that in 1960, got to be 1968 or 69, my dad bought a Triumph TR4, which is like an old English sports car. And it's one of my sister's favorite pictures because he bought that thing for something like $1,400.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like his pride and joy, little tiny blue sports car. And he took such good care of it. Sold it like 2 or 3 years later. Those cars these days are like $60,000.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're not going to, I know it's like 50, 60 years.
No, still. I remember the first time, Chalmers, going to your house and you were giving me the tour. We were like maybe 17 or 18. And you're like, yeah, my dad has like this crazy guitar that I can't remember if Eric Clapton sold it to him, Eric Clapton wanted to buy it or whatever it was. But I was like, Eric Clapton and guitar. And I remember I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Can I see it? And you're like, no.
Yeah, no, because I don't know where it is. So
yeah, it was under the bed at the time.
I know. So we've gotten a little bit more sophisticated.
Well, yeah, it was 300 years ago. Tell the story about your dad's guitar.
So a long, long time ago, my dad walked into a house of an old lady whose son had just moved out, and she was selling his belongings. And he had a 1958 Gibson Les Paul, the real deal. With like,
what does that mean? The real deal.
So in 1958, Les Paul made this like a Gibson Les Paul. I might fuck some of this up, but it's a really popular guitar they made, and they didn't make a lot of them, and they sounded great. But it wasn't until a little bit later I don't even know the years, but this guitar became like super popular, and it's the one that you see so they started making remakes of it, and originals started going for like $250,000.
Shut up!
Holy
and that's
shit.
what your dad has?
Yeah, and so, but
what? Oh, it's not under the bed anymore.
So like we can post a picture of it. I'll get a picture of it. But my dad walked into this lady's house, and
what year is it?
At that time, God, I wish I knew. 70s.
Okay.
Probably like in the 70s. It was $200 he bought the guitar for.
So your dad scammed a senior.
Oh, no,
yeah.
No, he paid list. And back then, that's all it was worth.
Oh.
It wasn't worth that much. When he bought it, it wasn't worth much. But then, like, some really big-time musicians started playing this guitar. It became, like, the coolest guitar ever. Gibson made a rerun of them and have ever since. They still sell them in guitar stores. And, yeah, it's a Terry Gibson.
Now, where the fuck does Eric Clapton come into the story, though? Because I remember being like, how does this kid know Eric Clapton?
My dad played in a band, and it was called The Warp Factor. And when when acts would come to Edmonton and Calgary, they'd play Edmonton and Calgary simultaneous nights, and what they would do was that a local band would open up for them because they didn't have traveling opening acts. And so my dad's band got to open up for Eric Clapton and the Cream when the Cream came to Edmonton.
What?
And Calgary. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, Jay, real quick to interrupt Chalmers. Warp Factor may have just passed Seabreeze as the best band Chalmers' dad was ever in.
Those are the two. Those are the main two.
I think Warp Factor just passed it on my list now.
So
I used to be a big Seabreeze guy.
Seabreeze was the band they played at weddings when they were like 40 and 50. So, but Warp Factor was when they still thought they could be the next Who or something, and they were all wearing like leather vests with tassels and shit.
I'm looking at photos of them right now. They look
driving
sweet.
in a convertible. Did he have a convertible in his Warp Factor days?
Is there any Warp Factor songs on YouTube?
The TR4 in the Warp Factor days.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we can post some pictures of them.
Our theme song should be the Warp Factor.
Oh my God! Could we get the Warp Factor?
Wait, they have a CD that was one of their buddies just like remastered some of their old stuff. But
yes,
that's good thinking. Let's get Warp Factor to be the new theme song.
Yeah,
so to complete the Eric Clapton story. Eric Clapton came up to him backstage, and my dad was strumming along on his Gibson Les Paul, and Eric Clapton was like, "That's a really nice guitar." And my dad's like, "Well, here." And so Eric Clapton started to play it. Wow. And Eric Clapton was sitting there and he was strumming along on it. And then he asked my dad, "Where did you get this vest? This vest that my dad was wearing?"
Oh my God, Eric Clapton liked your dad's guitar and his vest?
So this gets even better. The vest is the same vest in the photo on Instagram. My dad's wearing the vest in that photo.
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
He got this vest from a reserve where they made it from scratch. And it was like made out of real like buffalo leather. And it's like a beautiful, beautiful vest. And Eric Clapton's like, "I'll trade you anything." Back in the day, he didn't buy this stuff. It was all barter. They were hippies.
I'd be like, "Okay, deal. Trade me the rights to Tears in Heaven, you fuck."
He was still the Cream. It was still the Cream. So he didn't have no Tears in Heaven yet.
Yeah, but he knew it in his head somewhere.
So then he asked my dad for the vest. And my dad's like, "Not a chance." What? Yeah. And long story short, my dad like lost the vest. No, my mom threw it away because it started smelling like 20 years later.
She threw away his superpower vest.
So that's the story of my dad meeting and hanging with Eric Clapton and my dad and Eric Clapton strumming in this guitar. So anyways, over time this guitar has become very valuable, and so we've had to insure it and hide it basically. Wow. Yeah,
that's dope, and he kept it the whole way through.
He does. Yeah, it's his pride and joy. The only thing, and it's in perfect condition.
Can he play it and stuff still?
Oh, you can play it. Oh yeah, he still plays guitar all the time. They jam in down south where they live, and but the thing about the guitar is it's in perfect condition because my dad was like really good at keeping care of stuff. Except back in those days, you played with like a big belt buckle on, and so in the back of the guitar, right where the belt buckle was, the finish is worn off. So cool. It's the only thing worn. But yeah, they like Gibson Les Paul in the last years has gone out and made like a directory, and I'm going to botch this number, but it could be anywhere between like 2,000 to 8,000 of these things were ever made, and they've tried to find every single one of them, and they want to make like an actual like ledger of this guitar. So my dad's been in touch with them. Yeah, pretty cool.
What I respect the most about that story is your dad denying Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
Just being like, "Wow, I'm meeting a god. Hey, can I have your vest?" Fuck you, Eric Clapton. That's where you get that from, Chalmers.
He straight up was just like, "No, man, like I get it. You like,
no, man, I'm doing real good up here in the Edmonton scene."
Yeah, this vest gets the girls, man.
I'd be like, "Oh, really? I'll give you this vest if you take me on tour and let me open for you in 4 cities."
I think they were a little too baked at the time to probably come up with all these.
And LC used to smoke dope too.
I think they used to do a lot more than that.
It was the 70s, man.
God almighty.
A lot of LSD, I'm thinking maybe. I don't know.
How does your dad turn from that guy into the guy that I met as a child who's the most responsible human being on earth?
That's just how maturity works, I guess. I don't know. Get married, have a kid, and then you turn into lame dad, I guess. I don't know. But
he's not lame. LC's not lame.
No. I'm saying the general public would become, he became like a business owner and like
a legit dude.
Man. Yeah.
Crazy, man.
He still parties. I mean, they still get it together, and they drink rum and they play the guitars.
Oh yeah, I've had a cocktail or two with LC.
Like a bunch of the dudes that I used to play in the band with back in the day all have places in this little community down south where they winter, and they they get together and they jam in like the garage or like the front. They all bought amps and all bought instruments down there. So and they straight up have a band, like they were playing shows there.
I have a dream piece, like a pad of paper I keep beside my bed sometimes, where I wake up and write down dreams that I have just to see what I'm dreaming about.
Yeah.
And like 2012, I woke up one morning and on my dream note goes, how come we didn't have LC and Seabreeze play at Blue Chicago ? But underlined like 10 times, because in my dream I was like, what in the fuck?
At that time when they were the Seabreeze, they would have been playing like a lot of Hall and Oates, a lot of.
But why didn't we have them come play? Why didn't we figure that out?
I think that's like
it was too obvious
all the time. Well, we're having gigs all the time. Why didn't we look to that?
Yeah, it was too obvious.
I think that they were just not at that time.
Too big for us, probably, eh?
Couldn't afford them.
Sure. I think he was like, I think they would have taken at least like 2 years to become stage ready again at that point.
2 years? Once you
Maybe
got the warp factor going through, it doesn't never go away.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's my dad's interesting story. So my dad's always tried to do that. Right now in his garage, he has like an old, it's not even old, it's like 92 or 90 something, like a Mazda RX-7, one of those ones with like the Henkel rotary motor.
The rotary engine.
What color?
Green. It's dark green.
Decent.
And it's all original, and he loves that thing. And it is a fast car. It's fast. But
he's got it all figured out, doesn't he?
You know what? And the funny thing is my very first car was that CRX that I bought. Remember?
Do I remember?
Those things are legitimately worth like twice as much as I paid for mine 10 years
Even with weird rally car straps and a punched out back window?
Yeah, that was for static. Remember that static bar that dragged along the ground like it was supposed to be static away from the ground?
Yeah. like static was such a huge problem in your life.
That was such a huge problem.
Look, guys, I don't know how you're driving around those static bars, but
my hair was already spiked up on purpose. I don't know what I was worried about static for.
Oh, what?
Those are the days where, like, when you work summer jobs and you judged everybody based on the faceplate of their stereo.
Your Chuck, do you not know what we're talking about?
I don't even want to explain to you static. What are static bars? What are they called?
So there's these little things that you just hang from the back of your car, but
they run on the ground.
They drag on the ground. They ground your car.
And they ground your car.
Wow.
I remember one time going to the stereo shop, Chalmers, and asking for special screws for my license plate in the Wanye mobile that had rubber washers on them, because when I would turn the bass on to Prodigy, one time my license plate almost fell off. And I had to get one that didn't rattle. It rattled from the bass.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember this guy being like, is that really necessary? And I was like, bitch, you get me my screw.
Yeah. I don't want my license plate. It's super necessary to have heavy bass back then.
We should go back to these times now, post-pandemic. We should go all get our 90s cars, which all cost $0.25, and roll in them again. I guess not 90s, more O's. When did you have the Civic? What year?
The CRX was a 91.
Sorry, CRX. But what year? Yeah, 91.
But I had it in 98. Yeah. 98,
hard.
99.
You had rims, too.
I did have
everything.
Yeah, had rims, no spoiler.
What were you doing where were you working in those days? You were doing construction?
No, at that time I was either working at a clothing store, either Club Monaco or Latitude, or I was working at Joey's or Earl's as a server.
I'll never forget finding out you worked at Club Monaco, and everybody in the room was like, is he? We're like, no. No.
But I knew how to act. I knew how to sell clothes, buddy.
and shoplift.
What? No.
No, not from Club Monaco. I never did it from there.
I'm kidding.
But yeah, Joey's and sitting and serving tables. Have you guys ever? Yeah, Remchuck, do you ever wait tables?
No, I never did.
Bag milk. You ever do it?
Oh, he's barman.
Yeah, I worked in bars when I was traveling, but no, I never fucked with people's food.
Yeah, serving tables.
Bag milk. You worked at Tiger Bar. That's like top 5 bars of all time anywhere in the world.
It was a good time, man. It was weird. RIP. It's no longer there. That building is gone.
Is this the bar in Thailand?
Yeah, Thailand. Yeah.
I worked at a bunch of bars there and a couple of restaurants, but mostly my job was just to like hand out flyers and lure people into the bar and try to get them in for business. But then later on, I started making some easy cocktails at Tiger Bar. So I was behind. Oh, my favorite thing that I did at that bar was refilling the Grey Goose bottle with the like 30-cent Thai vodka.
I bought Grey Goose there. No, just kidding. Who buys Grey Goose? Who buys Grey Goose at the Backpacker Bar?
It was the fancy boys that had the scarves when it was plus 30. They were all from Sweden. It was always the Swedish guys.
And you just posed them with like really knockoff vodka.
Yeah, man. I would fill off Grey Goose I would fill up the Grey Goose bottles with these like cheap Thai vodka that they would buy in the market, and I did the same thing with the Jack Daniel's bottles. Did they ever notice? Did anybody ever? No, never.
Like, no. Not Grey Goose? No.
It's
Never.
almost ignorant to order Grey Goose in Thailand. Like that just doesn't fly.
Well, you're flexing, right? I respect it, but the minute it's in a shot glass, who the fuck knows what you're drinking?
Well, and clearly you don't know what you're drinking because you can't tell the difference between Grey Goose and a bottle of vodka that's, a tenth the price.
Sober, I could.
Sober, I could too.
Bag Milk, tell us one of the wildest stories from being a bar guy on PP Island.
Oh, fuck.
Man.
I think I've heard a few of these. Some of them are scary. I don't even know if you want to.
Well, tell the one you can tell on the show, right? PP Island, for those who don't know, I think we've talked about it before, but it's this little tiny spit of an island where there's no cars. And we went there. We went back a few times, me and the Squire. But Bag Milk lived there as a bar man. And like, it's the island from Lost. It's my favorite place ever. And you can go there, and you can get stuck there and never leave happily for the rest of your life.
Yeah, a lot of people call it Neverland for a reason because you just kind of get stuck there, and all of a sudden you lose a year of lose a year of your life.
It sounds like the movie The Beach.
That's where they filmed. That's where they filmed The Beach.
That's a great movie.
That is a great movie. Yeah,
but do you lose a year of your life, Bag Milk, or do you live a way better life than normal suburban life?
Well, it depends how you look at the math, right? Because there's a big chunk of that year that I was there that I just plain old don't remember. Killed a bunch of brain cells. I just really thinned the herd when I was there. As far as stories go, like you would see everything. Like the place was just kind of anything goes. I remember seeing people get knocked out in the bars. I remember a lady boy. Her name was Joy. She used to be before becoming a lady boy, she was into Muay Thai. And there was this English guy that was making fun of her and being a real dick. She was very nice. I really enjoyed her. She always had the best stories. But this English guy was being a dick to her. And I remember I was just making buckets behind the bar, and I looked up and I'm watching this situation, and she was getting visibly annoyed. She was getting really mad. And she jumped up on the table and like kind of Chuck Norris her way towards this English guy and popped him on the top of the skull with an elbow.
Yes.
And he folded. He just dropped right to the ground.
Wow.
And then there's a group of ladyboys there's a group of ladyboys that kind of appeared from the shadows and dragged him out of the bar and into an alley where he really got the boots given to him. So, moral of the story is, whatever they were wearing. Moral of the story, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick.
Not to a community of ladyboys, at least.
Chalmers.
Well, you know what? Sometimes you poke the bear and you get the claws. In this case, it was an elbow right to the top of the fucking melon.
Oh man, I wish I saw that.
It was unbelievable.
I could just vision it.
Yeah, it's crazy to me, these little streets. So PP Island's like these little tiny streets. And there's these one-story huts on both sides of the street, and it's maybe like 5 people across, and occasionally some dude on a bike with like a child carrier in the back that's used to transport luggage and shit wheels by. But there's all these little tiny restaurants that are run by these little tiny businesses. And then there's these like maybe 10 bars. And one has like a fucking boxing ring in it. And you can just go in if you want and fight people. And Jay and I are like, oh, you can? And they're like, yeah, you can just get around. And you go in like, what country are you from? What country are you from? And then they fight. Like it's lawless. It's amazing.
I remember
it's called Reggae Bar.
Reggae Bar. That's right. I remember we met some Canadians, I think, on the flight down to Phuket, and they were going to PP as well. So we kept kind of bouncing and seeing them around. And the one guy, we ran into later the night after he was at Reggae Bar, and he jumped in the ring and fought, because you can just fight like any other normal civilian. And if you win, you get a free bucket, or if you fight, you get a free bucket. Like essentially, they'll give you like $3 to get your ass kicked.
It's fucking wild.
And this guy, so he's like, hey, Jay. And I'm like, and he's just out of it. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, oh, I jumped in the ring. Watch my video. And it's because they video it. He shows me the video, and he got his ass kicked. He got dropped. So the guy is like full conkied, and he's just so out of it trying to tell me about like he doesn't realize he got his ass kicked. He's like, look how good I did. I was like, holy shit, dude, you should go to the hospital.
We used to go into that bar sometimes just for something to do. Just because this was a 7-day-a-week thing that they would hold these fights, and you would get a bucket, which essentially cost you $6. But you could have it for free if you get in the ring and do 3 rounds with somebody. And it was just complete Fight Club-esque rules where there were no rules.
Real life
boxing gloves.
I couldn't believe it.
Yep.
You had boxing gloves, but
And
if
the
you
headwear.
wanted, you could roundhouse kick somebody to the face if you could.
There
pull
are
it
no
off.
rules. You put your gear on, and then that's it. You don't sign anything. You don't pay any money.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
Do locals bet on this?
Probably, but like not visibly. But the only time you would ever really see locals is the servers at the bar, or if something was really getting out of hand in the ring, you would see these guys appearing out of nowhere to kind of split it up, and they'd all be laughing about it, and then they'd disappear again. So like probably betting, because I remember betting on like they had these giant red ants, like really aggressive red fire ants, and they used to bet. They used to bet on those. They used to like smash them together until they would start fighting until one died, and they would be throwing money down on these tiny little ants. So the idea of betting on dumb drunk foreigners beating each other up in a ring just for free alcohol, absolutely, they're betting on that.
I remember when I was in PP, I was going for a walk, and I was kind of more in like the local area, and there was just a huge crew of locals just huddled around a TV, and I'm like, what the hell? It was televised cockfighting. And
I went to see
like
that
crazy on it.
I went to see that in the Philippines in an arena of probably 5,000 people.
Oh, fuck. Crazy.
Come on. For real?
Yeah, we were just me and a buddy that I had met traveling landed in Manila in the Philippines, and we were just kind of like, all right, we're in Manila, what do we do? And a taxi driver's like, do you want to go see a cockfight? And I was just like, well, I mean, I guess, yeah, okay. Thinking that we were just going to go to some side street ring of some kind. But instead, they took us to an arena that you would see probably a junior team play in here. And it was packed with people for cockfights. And you would have these roosters with blades attached to their legs. And they would just like stick them in the ring at each other until one went down. It was some of the gnarliest shit I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, it's vicious.
So Wanye, this weekend, so the one thing that I did forget to say is talking about how people were betting on like red ants and stuff. Well, in the same vein as betting on like absolutely outlandish stuff, you know what we did this weekend while we were playing our poker game? We all downloaded Twitch. So Twitch is an account, Twitch is an app where you can you can watch people play video games, right? Yeah. So we all followed this one guy, and we drafted an order. We picked a team, and we played a bracketed tournament of NHL 20 and bet on the plays and the players and the games.
So you guys played the games and
No, simulated the game. We simulated and watched them.
Oh, how long does that take?
I was about 2.5 hours the total thing, and there's 8 teams.
Cool.
Yeah, and so like I took the Oilers,
obviously,
which has been pick over. You can believe that.
Oh my God,
good value in that. But
it was the 29. It was NHL 2019, so the Oilers still had Luch. So that they dropped. They dropped.
But like
because of that.
EA didn't like really ding him, did they? He was still pretty good.
No, they were still good. I mean, all the teams are like hovered within around 88 to 94.
But Lucic is good in 19, isn't he?
I doubt it.
Slow, but yeah, he's effective. But like so you'd watch like Columbus playing Tampa Bay, and it was awesome.
That's cool.
So we were betting on that.
Yeah, I celebrated a few goals. I was shocked with how kind of engaged I got with it.
Imagine that's the terrifying lesson they learned from this is just like, oh, you can just sim games and people will watch. You don't actually need players. Imagine
it's not the same.
Did you see that TSN is running and the NBA has an NBA 2K tournament coming out where active players in the NBA are playing NBA 2K against each other?
I did see this.
If they all had Twitch accounts, they'd make a
What do you think of that, your Chuck?
I think it's pretty cool. Like, I mean, we're desperate for content right now, so and 2K is like a wildly popular game. Like the NBA has their own 2K league, like a NBA sanctioned thing where teams draft players to their 2K league. So it's got a bit more of a community than like NHL 20 does around it. But I think it's pretty cool, and they'll stream the games. They'll get the players chirping each other. I think it's really, really good for the NBA, and it's good for the fans, too. Like, I would watch NHL players going head-to-head on a video game before I would watch professional gamers going head-to-head on NHL 20, if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I would, too.
You can make a lot of money if you're Twitch popular, man. Like, a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Not right now. No one's spending, but yes.
No, it's not money. It's ads.
But no one's spending on ads right now. But yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but yes.
Yeah,
there's people on Twitch that make millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars a year. Like, not at this exact moment in time, but like, I see what you're saying. Generally speaking, like, there are celebrities who are like, oh, yeah, I know on Twitch, I play video games all day long, super baked, thank you, California. And they make like $17,000 a month US. Like rappers and shit. What's that?
I think we've completely lost connection with Chalmers.
Chalmers start a rant and go off the air.
He's cutting in and out. I don't think he even notices that he is. But Chalmers, if you can hear this, maybe just do the old hang up and reconnect route.
Yeah, blow on the cartridge.
Yeah, he's running dial-up.
Soldier Boy makes a shitload of money streaming himself playing video games, and he has a whole bunch of gamers that work for him. That they made them all popular and they play games all day long, and Soldier Boy gets all the money.
Jesus, I mean,
like a record label.
Yeah, man, for real. It's like SODMG Gaming, and it makes a shitload of money.
Sorry, boy, is that better?
Oh yeah, that's a lot better, Chalmers. You're back now. That was the first time in like the 6 episodes we've been doing this that someone's connection is like totally shit out.
And you know what it was? It was because I realized my phone wasn't charging, and so I unplugged the charger and plugged it back in, and I think that just kind of messed it up. But I'm on my iPad now, so we good.
Yeah, you sound actually a lot better than before, even. So this is going to work well.
Yeah.
Oh, we are going to get by 10. Doing 10 of these, we'll finally get it done. Perfect.
So what do you got for us, Jerem Chuck?
Just in terms of topics for the show.
Yeah.
Well, I must say I did not expect us to go 30 minutes on Chalmers' dad, PP Island, and big cockfighting.
That's all more interesting. Who cares about what's going on right now? I'd rather talk about when times were interesting.
No, yeah, 100%. Like I'm saying, I was like thoroughly entertained for the first half of this podcast.
Let's be talking about rando shit like that.
All right,
then it's always good. It's always good too. But there's some stuff to also address. So isn't there to talk about like current stuff we should weigh in on?
Well, now I'm getting mixed messages from the crew, but
I don't know, buddy. I went to my favorite rap website today. It's like, T.I.'s pandemic tips. Like, I don't want to hear about it all.
No. Yeah, we don't need to do that kind of stuff anymore.
I don't. And I'm like, holy fuck. And then it's like the next article is like, Bow Wow alone and horny in his condo.
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
I say we do this. Let's see what the topics are, and then we'll vote on them whether or not we want to talk about them.
Let's make this show until we're back on the other side of this. Like, I'm getting ready to write articles, right? And so I'm trying to think about like, how do you do this and not. If you're going to read the most important information of the day, you should not be reading my article. That's like what I'm starting out with, right? Because I'm reading a lot of blogs and shit, man, and it's just like people talking about what's happening, and it's like 100% of the news cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, frankly, I'm bored of it. Not that like it's just bad news. Like, I want to do diversionary shit, but there's not a lot of stuff to read right now being written because it's all about this. So then we should make like this show. Like, let's just not drag that shit in here.
Oh no, 100%.
Okay, then why don't we dig into some Oilers talk, because 4 years ago tonight was the final game at Rexall Place. It was the farewell. They brought all the old players on the ice. My story of this one is, like, my dad's been a partial season seat holder my whole life, but he didn't have tickets to that one. And for a while, me and him were just like, no, we're not going to go. Tickets are too expensive. But like 3.5 hours before puck drop, I was at NAIT. I was a broadcasting student at the time. And my dad texted me and was like, literally just whatever it takes, let's go. And I was like, all right, cool. So I went online, bought us tickets. We sat like right next to the Zamboni entrance. So they brought out the blue thing, but we could still kind of see the players and like old players pretty close when they're walking out. And I remember just having a super good time. Like, I have so many great memories at Rexall Place going there with my dad. I have a lot of like generally shitty ones of like going to a game and watching them lose 5-1 in February to like the Minnesota Wild, and then like walking back to the car in a snowstorm. But that final memory, like, the organization gets ripped for shit. I thought they did just a fucking amazing job with all of that.
Yeah.
when I look back at my Oilers memories, man, right now, I don't have any bad memories. Even going to the game and the Oilers. Remember, Jay, for a while there, it was like we took people to games. We lost like 8-0, 7-1, and 15-0 or some shit.
Yeah, it was cute. Yeah.
Wasn't it Dangle we brought?
Yeah, we hosted we hosted the BG guys, the Dangle, and they would come watch their teams just shell us,
destroy us. Even those games are still good memories.
Oh yeah, no, it was great.
Even the third year of the Barrage contract, there are no bad memories in my mind.
I miss it was like when that barn was going, it was a fucking rager. Like it was good in there. And just like it was a little like now like you thought it was a big arena, but then you go into Rogers and it obviously feels small, but like it just felt way more intimate in there.
So,
I miss the gallery.
Yeah.
You can always look up to the gallery and be like, those guys are partying. Maybe it's going to come back, man. Maybe now with the new world, maybe they're going to have to do like a 50% rollback on salary and 50% on ticket price, and maybe we'll be allowed to get turned up again at games. Oh yeah.
Yesterday they had the Gretzky's 38 and 50 on. Did anybody see that?
Oh, I saw like 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago.
So at the end of the game, he gets it, right? But they spend a lot of time from the old broadcast of that game showing, it's like 1980, what year was that? 82, 83?
Yeah, it's early 81, 82.
And they spend a lot of time showing the crowd and showing like Rexall, like back in the day when it was North Anne's Coliseum. Like they
Where do I
a lot of it.
Where do I see this?
So
it was on TSN or Sportsnet. Sportsnet, yeah.
Yeah, it was I think it was TSN or Sportsnet.
Yeah, one of the two.
Anyway, it'll just say like NHL Classics, and you pretty much have to go into the info to see what they're showing. And yeah, so like I got in with probably like a minute left in the third, and obviously he gets it, an open net with like 3 seconds left. But yeah, I found myself like watching the arena and the people in the arena and like seeing the atmosphere. I found myself way more like into that whole thing. It was.
Where is this? Like, can I go to the website to watch it, Chalmers?
You probably could go into it. I mean, you could probably go to.
Probably just on YouTube.
If anybody's listening to this show, and I know you're not, tweet me and send me a link to this shit online because I really want to watch it.
Okay, well, anytime they show an Oilers playoff game from the 80s, they show a lot of crowd shots. Mm-hmm. I was actually quite surprised.
It's super interesting, man. Like, they used to do, like, in-between features in games about, like, Edmonton. Right? So it'd be like, it's like a game on A channel or some shit. But, like, at intermission, they would actually have, like, documentary footage about life in Edmonton and going to the games. And they would go and talk to fans and, like, interview them. And people are, like, giving their hot takes on shit. It was awesome. Old games are rad to watch. I've never really seen any until recently.
And it's like NHL Classics. Yeah. Oh, it says, I've literally put it on Sportsnet right now, and it says NHL Classics, stream on sportsnet.ca.
Okay.
And check your DMs on Twitter, buddy. I got a little treat for you.
Oh shit.
Hello.
Thanks, buddy. I'm in.
Yeah, they've been really cool. I even watched, what the hell was the game? I think it was just a Vancouver Canucks Rangers Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Amazing. Yeah. I'm all about like the ads and shit in this stuff. Like, do they have the ads uploaded too, or is that just a YouTube thing?
Well, I don't know.
When there's old games on YouTube you can watch, you can still see the ads a lot of the time. And they're funnier than the game.
The games on Sportsnet don't even have the chyron, like the scores, like the graphics.
Yeah.
There's nothing. You don't know what the score is. You don't know when in the game it is.
And then it pops up, right? You're like, oh.
But it's an actual camera of the scoreboard clock.
Yeah.
I also love that. I'm just looking through this game right now, and I'm loving that the Flyers are wearing Cooperall.
They're wearing Cooperall. Yeah. And they're black and they're fucking awesome.
Like when you looked at the Flyers, it looks like it does not look like they're dressed to play hockey.
No.
I think we could really like make the best of no sports by going back and really appreciating some of the amazing things that I know a buddy who watched like 5 UFC fights yesterday, and on every one of them was like, I didn't remember how this one ended. It was amazing. And like in the moment when you watch this stuff happen, you think about how amazing it was, and then the next couple of days, maybe weeks, you talk about it. But like
then it's forgotten.
The '92 Blue Jays winning the World Series, like
Fuck yeah.
that was all on. That was super cool to watch this weekend.
I think that,
you were nodding. You were watching it too.
I think it's funny to have like a window on the past, right? I like watching older movies where like I was watching this one detective movie one time. I can't remember what it was, but it was like a 70s movie, and the cop's in a car chase, and he screeches to a halt, gets out, runs to a payphone, makes a call, calls the Sarge, jumps back in his car, and starts the car chase again.
That's right.
And I was like, man, this is good police work.
That's
it's
how you do
to see
it.
a window on the past. Like the ads in the old hockey games are like 8 out of 10 babies agree. The best cigarettes are players. And you're like, babies are endorsing cigarettes?
There is an NHL Classic on right now, and it's Barry Melrose behind the bench at the Great West Forum for the Kings versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, you can watch this all day, every day.
Yeah, because there's nothing else for the networks to put on TV.
It's amazing, though. It's so much fun.
That is so much fun.
Well, maybe it's only so much fun because all of our other fun's been ripped.
No, it is fun. No. Fuck that. How many Oilers games have you watched? No offense to the Oilers. I love them and they're number one. That aren't entertaining, right? If you're now looking for guaranteed entertainment, you should go watch the ones on wherever with a lot of views because guaranteed it's a great hockey game.
I'm surprised guys like Paul Coffey didn't do their hair a little bit better back in the day when they used to wear no helmet.
but they thought they were doing it good. Like, that was the style then, man.
They
Just feathered, man.
Great.
Paul Coffey wore a helmet. Did he, or was he standsless?
Not the game against.
Yeah, there was a lot of no lids in that game. Fuck, that's just wild.
Can you imagine back in the day when you're like, oh, I guess I'm going to wear a helmet? People are like, you pussy.
You know who I didn't appreciate? Dave Lumley. He pulls one of these moves where he comes in on the wing, and then right around the ringette line, he stops, puts the puck off the boards behind him, and picks it up behind him. You know?
I saw that exact play. That move still exists today.
And I was like, Dave Lumley was pulling those moves back in 1980.
I played with Dave Lumley against Dave Lumley in an alumni tournament. Like he's skilled, man. Like he was smart with his stick. It was fucking funny because I'm like, because at that point I was like, Dave Lumley. I'm like, I've only ever like heard whispers of your name. But like, I'm like, no, like fuck, he's obviously made the NHL. He's legit.
I remember, like, at the most recent Hockey Helps the Homeless, I played on the team with Gary Unger, who, like, I gotta think he's in his 70s now, late 70s. I should probably look it up. But, like, even him, man, like, he couldn't really skate, but still, you'd be, like, going up the wing, and he would just hit you with just a cherry pass through traffic. Like, those guys, they might lose the foot speed. Yeah, sorry, he's 72 years old now, and he was still, like, bringing it in, like, a fairly fast-paced game, I guess. It was super cool, like, to see what those players who were at that level at one point, even way back when, to see what they're able to retain for so long is crazy.
Well, they still have the IQ, right?
Yeah.
Like, they still know where to look. They still, like, so yeah, like, it's so interesting. And to see it, like, wow, like a guy who's 72, and you're like, shit, this guy's got game. Like, that's pretty fucking neat.
Yeah, it was super cool. So that was all kind of tying back to that last game at Rexall Place. We went off on quite a wild tangent, but anyone else have any like peak Rexall Place memories that they want to share? Anything like, I mean, obviously you hear like the crack beers and all that get a lot of love, but anything else?
Were you at the game? I think it might have been the same season when they retired Sather's, I guess, retired Sather.
Yeah.
And that weird descent he had to take from like the catwalk all the way down to the ice.
I'll text you. Sorry, boy, just rolled up to Wanye Manor.
Oh, what was that?
Boyd Curry. My boy, he's out doing a social distancing walk, and he knocked on the door.
Oh, I'm glad we were.
Answer the door, be like, "Hey, buddy, what's up? You want to hang up?" "No, I can't, man. I'm actually live on a podcast." And then point at your phone.
What does he mean? Do you want to hang out? Like, do you want to come in or something?
No, he's walking around the neighborhood.
Oh,
Chalmers, you can't go into someone's house.
Is that really a no-no? No.
In 2020, motherfuckers, no. I'm keeping a strict ass quarantine at Wanye Manor. You got to be mostly chlorine if you want to come in here.
I respect that. All right. What the hell are you talking about?
So yeah, Wanye, I was talking about a memory of mine just because it was hilarious. Well, I thought it was. when the Oilers retired Sather's banner or whatever, where they put his name up in the rafters.
Yeah.
You remember that long walk he had to take down from the catwalk all the way down through the stands? It took like 10 minutes. And we're like, what?
They
started on a shot of his cigar.
Well, he'd stop and like have a cigar, like shake a hand of a random. Like they didn't time it out or something.
No.
It was so fucking and even Sather felt awkward, but he was there to do his deed and he did it. I thought it was just the weirdest thing. That was the first thing that just popped in my head. There's so many more fucking better hockey memories than that.
Yeah, it started with the shot of his cigar. It was so weird. Like the lights went out. And then you look at the scoreboard, and it was like an ashtray.
Yeah. And he just walked down, smoking down a cigar inside the building.
Didn't he have like a scarf on too, or something?
Oh yeah, he probably had 50 pounds of clothing on him. And Sather's old, right? He's probably in his late 60s or 70s, early 70s at that point. And they make the poor guy walk down
from the top. Yeah, from the top.
And he did it, so God bless him. But
he did it from the top all the way to the ice.
Oh fuck! It was just weird.
Do you remember Gretzky's retirement when they put him in the back of the pickup truck and he drove around waving and everybody was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, Ford paid a lot of money for that.
What's that?
Said Ford paid a lot of money for that.
Oh yeah, and then remember when poor Gretzky had to take the Olympic torch in the back of the pickup truck in Vancouver
in the rain,
raining sideways, and the torch was like going to go out with Gretzky holding on to it, but luckily it didn't give up the ghost. That's funny.
That's a problem with me and Rexall. Those beers used to get to me. I don't have very many memories of that place.
Oh, I remember in 2006. It was game 1 or 2. No, it was the first. It was the first home game against Detroit.
We went.
So that would have been game 3, I guess.
When we made the cup,
we made that cup.
Yeah.
We made these hilariously super tall beer hats that would have pissed off the people behind us. And I remember, so Detroit in overtime comes in and allegedly scores, but I swear I saw it go under, even though we were sitting in the gallery.
Yeah.
I swear it went under the side of the net.
And you're like, it didn't go in. It didn't go in.
I went running up and down the stand. It didn't go in. It's going to be no goal. It's going to be no goal. And everyone's like, what? And then they announced no goal. So then I ran down to the bottom of the steps of our section.
Like you scored the goal in our section.
And I threw the Stanley Cup off the balcony. Now, it was made of tinfoil, weighed like a pound, but like I was like, what the fuck was I thinking?
On your fellow.
But I was so happy.
As though you were throwing it on the Detroit Red Wings.
Yeah, and then we won it, and then no goal, and we won the game.
Who scored the OT winner that night?
I want to say Jarrett Stoll.
Yeah, I think that's who I remember too.
I remember they didn't stop selling booze.
No, that's the thing.
That was the best
selling booze.
At the end of the second intermission, I remember we were walking by, and it was like news breaking. It was like, hey, they're still selling beer, and you're like, what? And then you went up, they're like, yep.
That was they didn't know what to do. Remember?
Yeah,
it was like they thought that like they weren't going to go deep, and the Oilers are just like, fuck it, let's just
maximum money
at the end of the game.
Well, it went till double overtime, right? Or triple, double. Yeah, I had like 12 or 13 Rexall beers. Like I had to go to work the next day, and I was a fucking zombie. And I was still young, so I had the ability to process alcohol. So normally, that's how. Oh man, that was wild.
Jesus Christ! You tell a story where you declared yourself young.
Well, like when you're younger, you can, your hangovers are minimal. So that was in a minimal hangover window, and I still had a massive hangover.
Those are the fucking days. I'll tell you, old Rexall beers, what I wouldn't give for one of those right now.
I remember in when we were playing, was it 97, 98, 99, 99 maybe. We played Dallas. And we got to the rink like an hour and a half. They let us in. Like normally, now Rogers won't let you in that early. But we were like an hour and 45 minutes early sitting in our seats. But so were like 10,000 other people. And they're already chanting Belfour.
Yeah. Huh. I remember going to a game with you around that era where you used to throw the beer lids like frisbees?
Yes.
So in the stands, this is when you're stupid when you're a little kid. In the stands drinking beers, we would throw the beer lids like frisbees into the stands and thought it was funny.
Oh yeah.
And everybody I knew did it.
Oh yeah.
Get hit with beer lids all the time, like ha ha ha, like so crazy. Now you do that, they'll bring the Coast Guard in.
I have a Rexall themed question for you guys. I remember, so I would have been still 17 for that final season. But I remember I was at the point where my dad would go and buy me beers when we were watching games together. And I remember they were like $9, I want to say, or $9.75 for the draft beers. Yeah. What's the cheapest you remember them being at Rexall?
$7.50 for me.
Yeah, I think $7.50. Yeah, I think
so. Like in the early 2000s.
$7, yeah, $7.50.
No, I remember. Oh, maybe this was cocktails, but I remember when they were just over $5, and it pissed you off because like it's impossible to. You have like a 10.
Yeah, but I just can't remember it. It had to have been that cheap.
$5.50 or something. Maybe that was just for cocktails, like the small ones. I don't remember. Remember those drinks that we used to get that were like $30?
Yeah, remember with the Monster Energy drinks?
Yeah, they were 2 shots of the orange vodka.
In the orange Monster Energies.
Yeah. Yeah. They were like $31 a piece.
Yeah, and then you get 2 tallies and that'd kick your night off.
Oh, yeah. Those are good.
Are you still off the Red Bull, Chalmers?
Were concerts.
What's that?
A lot of the things I remember about Rexall were the concert.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Best concert you saw there?
Yeah, going to all these concerts. Going to like Jay-Z and
seeing
Taylor Swift when she was like super young, opening up for.
Yeah, I saw her open up for. Who was it?
Who the hell was that?
Was it Carrie Underwood?
Dixie Chicks.
Shania Twain.
It wasn't Dixie. No.
Meek Mill.
It was like Phil and Tim McGraw or something. I don't really remember, but yeah, like Taylor Swift opened up for her. They were going and seeing like Jay-Z and Kanye when they did their tour together.
Yeah, I remember the one time going to Jay-Z and Kanye, and like I don't know what the hell happened, but Jay-Z was at the height of his game, and he came here, and like 8,500 people went to Rexall.
I was so embarrassed.
I was horrified, and then I heard that his jet was late, so he went into Ezzy's on a not busy night with his entourage, waiting for his jet. And I was like, oh no, Jay-Z's never going to come back now.
Ezzy, oh man, I would have loved
on an off night.
Irish Ezzy.
Huh. They're like, hi, Mr. Z, would you like a $9 pony jug?
Mr. Zed.
Mr. Zed.
You still can't get in. He's in the locker room on the side or whatever it was called.
Oh, yeah. Remember going into the locker room, Jay, and like threatening the bartenders to get you into the Ezzy side?
Oh, yeah.
I remember going in and being like, I don't want to talk to you about anything. You got to get me into the bar over there. And then they were like, what?
Such a weird system. It was like they treated you like cattle. They just kept moving you from pen to pen.
Yeah.
Explain, please, because I don't know what you're talking about.
You missed it.
So they had it. There was 2 bars, and there was one that was like kind of the lobby bar, and then there was like the nightclub. And so, because this is all in a hotel. This is a hotel, and then like they have this one lobby bar called the Locker Room.
So busy here, Chuck. You have no idea how busy this place is.
Bar. And so you would go into the locker room, but the ultimate goal was to get into the nightclub next door called Esmeralda, which was in like an Irish bar.
Not really. It's kind of a country bar.
It was kind of like a country bar. And so, yeah, if you had 2 paths to getting in. You either tried to wait just to go straight into Ezzy's, or you went into the locker room and you kind of like waited till somebody would take you in to Ezzy's.
Yeah.
And like, because if you went into the locker room and you weren't focused, you were never getting into Ezzy's.
Never. You had to be a baller. You had to get in. You had to know people.
You had to have somebody take you there, or you had to basically wait at the door, which was just like a way of standing somewhere warm. So It was a weird scenario. It was a weird system. I had some good times in the locker room, though.
Buddy, I remember going to Ezzy's with you and then a rumble breaking out and then you rolling up in the fight like Van Damme.
That was one of the craziest nights I'd ever been a part of.
I'd be like, wow, Chalmers is no joke when called upon.
I just remember people going, I think Jay had his Ram there, didn't he, Jay?
Yeah, you went there.
I had my Ram everywhere.
Yeah.
It was in
the back of his Ram.
Yeah.
Golf club.
Before we wrap up the podcast, we need to give some love to all of our fantastic sponsors. Oh, we still got some time left. We still have time left, but I'm just, giving love to the sponsors before the end of the podcast. We got maybe one more topic left after this. So big shout out to Japa Machinery, the underdogs of the machinery game. We love them very much, and we hope to see them back at full strength once this is all over, because we know they will be. And what's going on at Oodle Noodle? What's new with the Noodle Gang?
What's new? Well, on Friday, we were able to make a donation to the youth emergency shelter, which was sweet. We donated a bunch of noodles and sauces. So that was super cool. And that's all because everyone in Edmonton's still able to support us during this time. So that's cool. So we're still delivering noodles like crazy. And we're super grateful for everyone who's ordering us for right now. But yeah, check us out. Skip the dishes, oodlenoodle.ca.
And there's a bonus if you do takeout, right, instead of delivery?
Allow me to finish my pierogi here first.
I was going to say, you just took a massive...
You just took a bite?
As
What
soon
the
as I
fuck?
finished
You're literally
asking my
talking.
question, you put a massive piece of food in your mouth.
So anyone who
1
comes in
hour
store...
a day you can't eat. Is that cool?
Yeah. I haven't had lunch yet. So anyone who comes in store to take out, it's 15% off in store.
Hello.
So good deals. Try the new deep fried wontons
I guess
too. They're
that
fucking
1 p.m.
amazing.
podcast time really snuck up on you, hey?
Fuck. I got a guy coming to the door. Last episode, he gets into a car accident. Now he's eating.
Oh yeah, that was good. That was good podcasting. That was live action right there.
That was live action. That was
Almost-
like shit was happening while we were recording. It's exciting.
So Chalmers, I was doing beer deliveries last week while recording, and I was driving to my next delivery, and someone almost drove me off the road because they didn't see me, and they just swerved into my lane.
And you were doing the podcast?
I was doing the podcast, so I slammed like, whoa!
And
I slammed on the horn. Yeah, and talk, yeah.
While talking, got into a fender bender. How can they not see you? You're in a jacked up nation truck.
Yeah, you
I
see
don't
that
know.
thing from space.
They must not have looked anywhere. Like they just must have just assumed I don't know. They were driving so slow, and they were way ahead of me. And then I was driving the speed limit and just like catching up to them like crazy, and they just like veered into my lane. I was like, "What the fuck?"
One day when we're older, and your M truck is older too, they will. The children of the future will be amazed we were allowed to drive.
Yes.
They're gonna be like, "What? Like you just man? When you're like 14, you just go and they give you a little piece of paper and you tell them you know what a stop sign does, and away you went."
If you got some time on Saturday afternoon, we watched Back to the Future 2. If anybody doesn't remember Back to the Future 2, that's the one where they go into the future. They go to the year 2015.
Okay.
And they expected us to have a lot more than we have right now.
What did we have? What did we not have, and what did we have?
Flying cars. They had flying cars.
Hoverboards.
Those shoes that did up by themselves.
The shoes that
Ooh,
did up by
Nike made
themselves.
those. Nike
Those
made
exist.
those.
Yeah.
The jacket that sizes itself.
Interesting.
A lot of shiny
pizza maker,
jackets
where
too,
you
if
put,
I
like, a
remember
pizza in
correctly.
That's like 2 inches by 2 inches, and then you put it in this Pizza Hut machine, and then when you open it 1 second later, it's like a fully cooked pizza.
The Futuraka cycle.
Is that what that is?
That's a Jetsons reference.
That's from, Jetson. Chalmers, but this is what happens again. You make it sound so interesting, and then I go watch it, and I realize you explaining it is generally more interesting than the actual show.
It was pretty good. It's like
This became a mogul.
what's that?
This was a mogul.
Yeah, he made all those bets.
Yeah, because of the Almanac.
Yep.
God, that's a good movie. You know what else I got engulfed by this weekend, and I think you did too? Friday midnight. What did you do? What did I do? Found Drake dropped a new.
Oh, the fucking new jam.
Tootsie
It is
Slide.
hot.
And you
So
know what's
good.
so genius about him? Here's what's so genius about him. So he drops this thing with a dance. So
Yep.
now he's, it's going to go viral. People are going to do a
TikTok.
dance.
TikTok.
Not only does he do that, but he drops a video with it of
Yep.
him doing the dance around his house.
In coronavirus, memorializing this moment in time.
Pretty much. And so basically now I can see that it's going to become a thing, but I think celebrities are going to start putting out videos where they like walk around their house doing the dance.
Yep.
It's like 30-second snippets of like a cool part of their house or something. I just think, and he's just like, he's so smart. He's got everybody's attention.
Yep.
You even made a comment saying that like the guy's work ethic and his hustle is just like
Buddy,
none.
so when this song came out, I watched this and I realized that like Drake's locked in his house in Toronto. He went to the trouble of buying all the fireworks at the end, right?
Yeah.
Set up fireworks on his own. The whole city's in lockdown. He sent people out to get images and memorializes Toronto, not like well, not memorialized in the sense of death, but like it commemorates the moment in time, right?
Oh yeah, no, it puts a timestamp.
Everybody else is like Instagram living their makeup sessions and shit. Drake wrote a song, recorded it, made a video, and put it out all in his house. Like, you can't knock Drake much anymore, man. He's about as good as it gets.
Well, like, I was saying this when the song got released. I was talking to my girlfriend about it, and like when he gets the attention of like the entire pop culture community of the entire like continent better than anyone else. Like, I don't think there's anyone who has that much control on like culture in general now than Drake, and it's pretty cool that he does all this shit and he's Canadian. Like, he gets so much fucking hate from people because of like, you know, the basketball stuff and blah 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 whatever, but like, man, he should be almost celebrated more than he is for being like a stand-up Canadian.
Well, not only that, he's got more number one hits than anyone. Take Care, his album was on the top 200 charts for like 10 years, man.
It's nuts.
Well,
And
I
he
remember
repped Canada.
when we were texting about the video.
Whoop.
When we
Okay.
were texting about the video, and I said like, I don't get all the hate, and because I do respect his hustle, I do respect exactly like just how, and he's not like I get the basketball stuff, but like I'll be on.
Well, his
Drake,
story,
no
right?
matter
Like
what he does.
his bio. It's like Maestro Fresh West blew up beyond anything, right? Like his story is so unlikely. But for people who want rappers to be like G's, Drake is the antithesis, right? And he also sings, and people don't like that either. So they want everybody to be like fucking Chief Keef and shit, and just be like talking about guns and drugs. Meanwhile, Drake's like kind of soft.
And I like when you
hate.
said that he was like borrowing his mom's car and driving girls around at like 16 up into the hills of Toronto, where the biggest houses are, telling them like, one day this is where I'm going to live, and they would just like laugh at him. And
yeah, one chick, he's telling the story about like his new house. He's like, I used to drive around here in like my mom's Honda Accord back in the day and show girls in this neighborhood and say, I'm going to live here one day. And one chick laughed at him and like wouldn't date him anymore or something. And then he bought 2 houses on that street, knocked them down, and put up a mega mansion. And that's in the video, man. And like, it's so cool, the shots of his house. They have one room. He's got all of his MTV awards and Grammys and shit.
That's his
one
closet,
room.
I think.
No, I think it's like a living room.
Oh, is it? Well, I don't know.
Or maybe it's in 2 rooms, but there's one room where it's all like in like trophy cases.
Yeah.
And it's so gangster, man, and it's in Toronto. Like, that's awesome.
I love the gaudiness of the house. My wife's not a fan.
Oh my god. It's like
She's
a
like,
700
I don't like
ton
marble everywhere
counter.
on the walls and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, he's a G, man. That's a really awesome video. Everybody should watch that if you're listening. If you're not, I don't blame you.
And then do a dance to it on TikTok.
He also showed off his house a little bit back in February when he dropped the 2 freestyles, When to Say When in Chicago. And there's one point where he's just sitting up in his house and it's like a fucking bank vault in there. And he just like reaches in and pulls out like a stack of cash from his own custom bank vault in his house. Like, it's fucking sweet, man. Go watch those ones.
Where's this?
Go to Drake's YouTube on February 29th. It's the When to Say When in Chicago freestyle. And like the shot of him like pulling his car out of the garage and like a little owl logo pops out of the hood of his Rolls Royce. Like, it's just it's the most boss shit ever, man. Like, the flexing he does is fucking unreal.
I'm gonna be very honest with you. I have no idea. Like, when you go on Netflix, you can like how do I just find all of Drake's stuff? I don't go on YouTube much.
You want to go on
YouTube and click on his name.
Yeah, just search Drake.
So, but then people have like something like, buddy, I'll put Drake in here, and next thing I know, I'll get like the 50 hottest songs of 2020.
So when
you just find any Drake video, and under the name of the video is the author, and it's Drake, and it's a channel with 20 million subscribers.
Yeah.
Okay, but he said go to a certain date. Well, they don't exactly just have the date. It says like
they do. If you click on the name
underneath
the song, it sorts all the Drake songs if Drake's the author by date for you.
Oh, anybody else confused now? Because I am too.
If you go to Drake's page, the first 3 music videos are Tootsie Slide Official Edited, Tootsie Slide Official Explicit, and then When to Say When in Chicago Freestyle.
Here we go.
Yeah.
This dude in the Tootsie Slide there, that Tootsie guy, or Tootsie or whatever you pronounce it, he's an Instagram dance guy. And so Drake gave him the song early to help him make the dance for it, and then do the dance, the video, and like disseminate it on social. And I was like watching the Instagram channel. I'm like, man, this sucks. Like they didn't even do that much about it. This guy isn't that famous. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm looking on the wrong platform. I'm an old man. This is a motherfucking TikTok thing. And I'm looking on Instagram. I'm trying to put a VHS in the beta, bitch. I'm looking on the wrong shit. But Chalmers doesn't even know how to work YouTube.
No, now I do. I'm there, man.
All right. Well, there you go. I think we got our homework for the next 4 days. We can catch up on our Drake videos.
Chalmers, can you find out if you can get a Warp Factor song and if you can show me the Warp Factor logo?
Oh, rad.
Yeah, 100%.
So Warp Factor tease.
I can get...
It's Warp Factor season.
I can definitely get it.
All right.
There
Get her
we go.
done.
Looking, because I swear to God, I have
There it
one
is.
on my computer. Okay, never mind. Yes, I can definitely get it.
Cool.
And I
Yeah,
can get you a picture of that guitar too if you really want.
Awesome.
we'll
What?
get that
For the
up on our
gram?
socials. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing we did, Chalmers, and I think you should jump in on this. Bag Milk on Friday hosted a Nation Happy Hour
Oh, yeah?
on Instagram Live.
Yeah, it was fun.
And it was actually a fucking blast. So many people were chiming in on it and whatnot. So it'd be interesting. What were the views at the end of the day of that, Bag Milk?
There was a few hundred for the first round.
Cool.
And so, sorry, what do? You just have a drink with people?
Yeah, just have a drink with people and bring some people into the chat and see what they're doing and what they're up to and how they're living. And
Kind of like your beat things when you would bring people at the bottom?
You should
Yeah,
do
exactly.
one, Chalmers. You should do
Hey,
it
you should come in.
on the Nation Instagram, Chalmers.
Yeah.
You should do a drink set.
Okay, but so I've watched Bag Milk, and sometimes I can think of things to say, but
He
I can
moderates
think
it.
of things I'd like to say to them that I wish Bag Milk was saying, but Bag Milk's clearly being way too nice to them. Do I have to be nice?
No.
Just do you.
Do you?
Be
bro?
entertaining.
Yeah.
Your Remchuck
so-
no-showed. You were supposed to be there, weren't you?
Yeah, I
can
know.
say-
I just
Where?
I got a little busy with some other plans.
So
Yeah.
it's still. But for starters, I thought it was a blast. A lot of people were chiming in. So this Friday, we might try to level it up to do it twice a week, but definitely this Friday at 4:30, Chalmers.
Um,
Yeah, I'll jump on theirs then, yeah.
I got good and drunk on Nation beers, by the way, on Friday. They were fantastic.
Oh yeah, happy birthday, belated again.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Thank you.
I got
Happy
two
birthday.
questions before we wrap up the pod. Number one, Nation beer is sold out. Do we have an estimated date on when more could be released to the public? Because I really
Yeah,
liked it.
Oh, good. I'm so happy, and I liked it. I liked it too, and it seems like last week was interesting because we did all those deliveries, and just everyone was so pumped, and then there was just so much good content and good feedback from it. I think this is going to be a thing, which is super fucking wicked. So working with our boys at Dog Island right now, so they are supposed to be canning 90 more flats either today or tomorrow. So there was a hold up with the label. So they're gonna can and label a bunch of cans, and then what we'll do is we'll launch it the minute we just got confirmation, because we just don't want people to wait, order and have to wait too long.
Yeah.
So when we get confirmation when they're booked in to do their canning, which is hopefully today, but probably tomorrow. From there we can launch another pre-sale, and then we'll same thing as last week. We'll do a delivery for this run, and then from there we're we got to work the phones, and if any of our listeners can help, if they've tried the beer or liked it, let your liquor store know so they can carry it. And that way, it's just easier and quicker to get it to you because they can order direct through the AGLC system, and it's a lot cleaner. But we're happy to keep doing deliveries if people still want to have the beer. So stay tuned. But definitely at some point this week we're going to be releasing more. And then when we sell out of that, they're already starting the second batch. So we went through one entire vat, if you will.
Cauldron.
God damn.
Fantastic.
So-
The Nation parties.
Yeah. Beg Milk, before we end the pod, what kind of content can we look for on Oilers Nation over the next few days here? What's new? What's popping?
Oh.
We are looking back. There's a lot of historical stuff today, including today I wrote something that, Wayne Gretzky never ceases to amaze me with the records that he has. So on this day in 86, Gretzky put up his 215th point of that season, which just smashed the records. And as I was putting it together, the interesting thing to me is that in terms of single season points production, Wayne Gretzky has 8 of the top 10 spots.
Unreal.
Wow.
Interrupted only by a couple from Mario Lemieux. But yeah, it's all Wayne all the time. A lot of historical. Robin Brownlee has something up about the 2-year anniversary of the Humboldt tragedy. He did a really good job with that, of looking back. I've got people, I'm asking people for their favorite Rexall Place memories, seeing as today is the anniversary. Cam Lewis has a bunch of stuff on the potential continuation of the 2019-2020 season, since the NHL is apparently looking at some neutral locations for where they might be able to play. And we're just going to keep posting a lot of just opinion stuff.
Fantastic.
Looking back, looking ahead, player reviews, you name it, we're going to throw it up there.
Awesome.
Look to me, baby. I got some shit in the hopper too, Bagged Milk.
God bless.
And
Swear word.
Bagged Milk, thanks for bringing up the 2-year anniversary of Humboldt. Obviously, with everything that's going on there, it may be a little bit less media attention on it, which could be a good thing depending on who you ask. But I think anyone who knows me knows how I was affected by that, and obviously 16 lives lost 2 years ago today, and just super, super tragic. But obviously, still thinking about all 16 of them and their families and anyone else who was obviously affected by that. But yeah, like you said, Brownlee did a great job on the website of kind of just bringing things up once again a little bit. Everyone who listened, thank you very much. You four, thank you for joining as always. Excited to do this on Thursday.
Bye. See you, boys.
See ya.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast from.